Hey there, in this video you are going to get a law of attraction identity shifting reading. This is really going to open you up spiritually, and it's going to help empower you to be able to easily take control of your personal life. You're going to be able to generate better relationships, overcome difficulties both mentally and emotionally, and it's just going to show you how simple and easy it really is to live life as a spiritual being. So get ready for this. The information is going to be presented in a special oracle card reading. Now look, oracle cards are nothing weird or devilish or strange. They're just information, pictures, and words. Now, if you're here watching this video, this reading is absolutely meant for you. No one's here by mistake, and this is the right time for this information to be presented. Plus, as a bonus, in the reading, you're also going to learn how to tap your memories for hidden spiritual magnetic power that you can use to fuel your present hopes and dreams. You'll see we're going to have an entertaining good time, a lot of great energy, and a lot of spiritual wisdom and spiritually attractive principles are going to come out of this. Let's get started. All right, now, here is the reading. Look at this pile. Now, this reading, look, this one has 5 cards, right, from 4 different decks and a Bazooka Joe comic. I'm telling you, you can't make this stuff up when you follow spirit. It inspires you to offer information into the world in the way that it inspires you to do. And that's why these card arrangement in this reading is like this. Plus, what is this? You chose it. You chose this green heart chakra, and that's how we're going to start off this reading. The green heart chakra. Now, what is that? Well, let's break it open, right? We want to make sure that we are eating spiritual food. That means we're living on our spiritual identity. Now, if you haven't woken up spiritually, that's all going to be covered right here and right now. It's super simple. We have in us a consciousness or an awareness. So easy. You've been using it your whole life. You've been looking from this position inside yourself through your eyes, and we will call it awareness, consciousness, or spirit. So, when you close your eyes, you can really feel it because you can't see anything around you. So you're like, wow, where am I? I'm somewhere in the dark. Well, you're in the non-material, immaterial part of your makeup, the spiritual heart chakra, spiritual identity. So that's how your reading starts off, and we're going to go ahead and get into the first card. Now, the first card that comes up is the gratitude card. Boom! Whoa, look at this. Big heart balloon going on. Now, what we're talking about here is the importance of love, but not love in the way we've heard before. Not love like affection. Not love like, oh, I need you, I want you. No, not love like romantic love at all. Not even the love of like a parent for a child, that care, that concern, or the love of a friend. No, we're talking about love in terms of the divine masculine. The divine masculine. And you might say like, well, Brian, why would that be? This card's got 2 women on it. Well, the divine masculine is the love that comes down into the world to give conceptions, a box or a space or an embodiment. The love is our words, our descriptions. Our words and our descriptions, how we define things. So the card is saying to start off by think about the words you're using to define people and situations around you. Because the way that we describe stuff is the way that the white light then comes into the world and is conceived, turns into a conception, an immaculate conception, and it reflects back to us our personal experiences. So we have a lot of gratitude for the simple fact that our words are creative. They're like little boxes that the light can come down and live in and be reflected back to us in personal experiences. You can see all the living in by the green growth that's going on here. It's saying your words are going to grow and expand. They're going to get thick in the world. So you want to choose your words wisely That's what all the purple is. The purple is the crown chakra color of wisdom. So it's saying it's wise for you to choose your words in a way that is only going to give growth to the things you prefer. These nice green vines with the nice green health and wellness leaves on them, right? Not thickets or thorns or any of that garbage. Now, how do we grow thorns and weeds and garbage? Well, we start to complain. Wah, wah, wah. Those people are like this. Oh, how dare they do that? Blah, 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 blah. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with blowing off some steam or some emotional expression. But if we're not careful, if we're spiritually sleeping, right? If we are spiritually asleep and we are stuck still in ourself, then we might start really investing in those words and believing them. And then be living them, believing them, be living them. We're going to be living the words that we share and express. Okay? So we want to use our words in a way that is going to make us grateful. That everything really does depend on what comes out of our mouth. It's not what we put into our mouth that defiles us, says the Bible. Not to quote the Bible, but you do sometimes. It's not what we put in our mouth that defiles us. It's what comes out that causes the conditions or the perceptions of the experiences that we pick up on in our world. So what we're saying here is to use love, or the Word of God, the Word of the universe, your intelligent ability to describe things. Use that to create your birth, your new birth in the world. That's why she's wearing red. That is the root chakra, the material world. So you're going to give birth, she's pregnant, give birth to the material world of your personal circumstances based on the words that you bring down from your third eye space, your consciousness, your awareness, your awakened spirit. Okay? So this would look like when you see other people, you don't want to use words to describe them in crummy ways. You want to look at them for the strengths that you see, and then you want to describe the strengths you see and talk about those so that they become embodied and reflected back more and more in your own life. They'll grow. And the other thing that's here is she's all dressed in purple because you want to make sure that you're doing the wise wording so that you are giving birth to wise situations. And that's why the purple flowers are coming up along with the green growth. So remember, the green heart chakra is the key to this to start off. The green heart chakra, which is knowing for you today, it's knowing that you are not just a physical body of pain or of joy in the world. You're not just a material being in the world, a personal self called you. You're not just that. That's more information. That's more like data or information, the thing called you. A social security number or a certain like driver's license number, all that. That's just data, which actually gets changed day by day as we learn new things and learn new words and describe things in new ways. So our self is always changing and being pulled apart, expanded, grown, educated, whatever, learning lessons, whatever. Our self, that's one thing, but we want to make sure, this reading is here to remind you, make sure that you are onto the green heart chakra identity. Know that your selfie really is that glowing green conscious awareness, spiritual awareness that lives inside of you. Once you know that, then you can go up here and use your words in a loving way, meaning you're able to care enough about yourself and have self-preservation enough to just give conception to the things you want to see reflected back. So you won't go running around calling people names, not that you're doing that, but when you're emotionally disturbed by others' behaviors, you'll watch your words because you know that when you cast them out, when you spell words, you're casting spells. Words are spells that then get written back towards you in storylines. So we are grateful that it is this simple. We're grateful that we have the white light. See, it's all, the word gratitude is all around the white. We're grateful that we have the white light to be able to trust that it's going to do good things in the world through us. We can trust that the white light wants our good interests, our heart's desires to come to pass. So we can feel really grateful that it is a blank canvas too. All this white's like a blank canvas up here, that anything is possible. So we can choose our words wisely, any words we want, and we can speak things into existence. That's what the birth is. So if you're looking for, a deeper relationship with somebody, just start to describe it with your words, and then it'll grow. And when I say that, I mean like use your imagery, use your conscious space to use words and descriptions up here, and then feel the light flooding into that, how warm it is, how vibrations it is, and then let go of it and allow it to just come back towards you as personal experiences. You'll start to notice little bits and pieces of the imagined story coming back in your life. Okay, now we're grateful for two things so far in this reading. There's a lot more cards to go through, so keep listening. We're grateful because we know we are a spiritual being having a human experience, and we now know that our words are the driver, the steering wheel of our experiences and our perceptions in the world, our conceptions. So let's move forward into the next card and see what we're going to get. Bum, 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 bum. Oh yeah, the rejection card. Now look. Getting rejected left and right. That sucks. No. It doesn't mean that, okay? Remember, we are talking about conception. So if we're going to go up into our secret place, our third eye space, our conscious awareness, our spiritual awareness, and formulate ideas, if we're going to paint pictures up here, right? If we're going to paint pictures up here, then we're going to have to contemplate what would be the things I really want to see happen in my life. We can take a responsible role as the artist, as the creative artist, the imaginative artist, the imagination space, so that we can choose the different conceptions we want, the different descriptions and words we want to paint up here first. And we know that this is an upper room. You can tell by the way that the windows are big and the clouds are way here in the windows. If this was a lower room, you would just see trees all blocking this. So we know that this is up in the sky, meaning up in our third eye, So here we go, boom, up here. And the rejection is simply, we're going to mull over all of our words and all of our experiences and all of our knowings and all of our things that we've been taught, things that we imagine, things that we want. We're going to pick through our database of words, and some of them we're going to reject. We're going to reject some ideas in favor of the highest ideas that we can imagine. And we're going to imagine them and feel them like they were real for a moment. Then we're going to let them go. And we're going to let God, Source, Universe, the light, infuse them and reflect them back to us in our day-to-day life. Now, look here. You can see another thing, which is cool for you to know. The painting looks like it's been painted on and then like repainted over. Now, what's that mean? Oh, it's such a good news that we can be grateful for the fact that on any given moment, we can revisit a memory, maybe even one that was crappy or traumatic. We can revisit them and we can start to repaint over them. We're not going to deny that they existed. No, we're just simply going to use the data, use the words from our memory, and use that little space, that little canvas of our memory, and we're going to paint a little bit of a new picture on it. And that's going to unlock all the energy from that memory. Especially traumatic ones, they hold a lot of magnetic energy, magnetic force, to be able to attract the things we really want. For example, all right, here's a silly example, but I'll use it. When I was little, I got my first 10-speed bike. It was a big boy bike. And the day I got it, I took it down the hill. I rode it down the hill outside our house. And as I was riding down the hill, I lost control of the bike and I crashed. I was scared. I was out of control and it wasn't very fun at all. All of a sudden, all my excitement, all of my happiness, all of my joy turned into fear and turned into disappointment and tears because I crashed and fell off and scraped up my new bike. And I remember feeling so disappointed, such like a loser. Oh, I can't believe I can't have anything good, right? So I'm going to revisit that memory right now because I can feel all that energy that's locked inside, all that emotion that's locked inside, programmed into that energy. And I'm going to white paint over it for a second. white blank canvas over it, right? Because we have that blank canvas ability. We have that white paint ability to just go into our imagination and reject one of those ideas for a moment or set it aside. Doesn't mean reject. It means we'll set the idea aside. We'll set the real memory aside of me getting a new bike, yay, me crashing, and all that happened. And instead, watch, I'm going to do this. I can see the new bike because it's in my memory. I'm going to pluck the color of it out. It was brown. It was a brown, huffy 10-speed bike. I see it. I can see the brown seat. I can feel the leather, faux leather, on the seat. I'm there. Okay, wow, this is so cool to travel back in time when I'm 53 years old and be a kid again. All right, now what do I do with this data? All right, I'm in the memory. Okay, here I go. Instead of crashing my bike or any of that, I am going to use my imagination right now to climb up on top of the seat of the bike, to stand one-legged on the seat of the bike and surf down the road in perfect control. Whoa, I feel that freedom. Wow. Now I'm going to put my arms up in the air in my imagination. I'm using my imagination, my upper room, my anything is possible, my words from the memory. I'm pulling out of that memory, that traumatic memory, I'm pulling out of it all the data and I'm rearranging it, repainting on it in a way that is unlocking some really great experience. Now I'm gliding down the road and, I'm at the bottom of the road and I turn back and look and there's my mom who is like glowing, sparkles in her eyes, clapping. She says, Brian, I love you. I love you. Oh yeah, all right, let me get out of that memory. Oh my God. Whoa, how do you think I feel right now? I tapped into that memory and I rearranged it, I repainted it. I set aside some of the details that were already written and painted on it. And I added some new ones from my 53-year-old self. And I unlocked the flow of energy. I unlocked a whole new space, a whole new memory. Now look, all of a sudden now that we're in this moment, that experience has passed. So just like the real memory of me crashing my bike, now I have a second memory attached to it, which has me and my mom saying she loves me. Oh my God, sparkles in her eyes, me surfing on top of a bike. What a great memory, which is attached to the crappy one. And now I don't feel so bad. Now when I think about like crashing that bike, I'm like, who cares? I'm like, oh my God, watch this. Oh my God, I'm glad, I'm grateful that I crashed my bike so that I could have that memory, so that I could be 53 here and now and make this video and unlock this imagination space and paint this new picture with it. Because if I didn't have that memory stored in my database of self, I never would have been able to pull the brown huffy 10-speed bike out. I never would have been able to use all that emotion that was packed in there, that power. I never would have been able to surf down my road and see my mom clapping for me and telling me she loves me. Whoa! Now, let's go to the third card and let's see what it's going to be, right? So, we still got these cards left in this reading. I hope that you stay for the whole reading. You never know what's going to happen. But because you are an open-minded person who is spiritually minded, you came to this video for a reason, to hear the information. Now, you may not use everything verbatim that I say, but so what? It's going to sparkle stuff, cause new associations, cause remembrances. It's going to just do what it needs to do because God, Source, Universe is speaking directly to you in a way that you can understand. So, we're going to look at card number 3. Whoa! And then we're going to go to the Bazooka Joe comment. I can't wait to see that. I've never read one of those on a reading. Card number 3. What are we looking at? Oh, you know that's the optimism card. All right, that's amazing. So we started off with gratitude, and we learned in that we need to pick our words wisely. We need to pick our words because they're the lenses that we are going to be seeing reality reflected back to us as. So we want to be optimistic, right? We want to be optimistic. We want to pick the highest ideas we can. See, I didn't imagine I was surfing down on my huffy 10-speed bike and then crashing again. Why would I do that? I want to stay optimistic. Optimistic, optimal. We want to use the optimal words. Use an optimal scenario. And we can do that down here on earth because we can go up in our imagination. Giving birth, there it is. There's the giving birth See, they're pregnant over here, the conception. There's the little baby that's born by you doing this reading, this practice, this exercise. And what we're seeing here too is all the yellow in the card. And what's that yellow? That's the color of the chakra for the solar plexus. And in this case, it represents joy. And you can almost see that it was getting yellow already. They were a little bit yellow already. Then there's a yellow, faded yellow in the room. And now there's that deep, rich yellow coming in. So there's a deep joy that is being unlocked. So through this reading, through this exercise that I'm describing in your reading, you're able to move power into an intensity. You can mine it from your memories and move it into an intensity. I have other video on that actually called Making Positive Affirmations from Past Memories. That's pretty good. So you can check that video out as well. Now look, what we're seeing here is this compass-looking form. Now what that is telling us is that we're going to be able to direct the course of our life. We are the ones with the compass, and it's a spiritual compass that works the way I'm describing in this reading, right? We're so grateful that we can do that. So stay optimistic. The message also is that when you are creating up here in your conscious space, your heart, mind, up here, your third eye space, you're imagining and feeling and painting with the details. When you're doing that, you want to make sure that you realize, right? Realize that you are using that compass to guide your life. Okay? So you do have control over that. Here are the two horses, which represent our two eyes in the world, really. They are becoming a single eye. That's why they are combined like one horse down here in the water, and that she has no clothes on because she is the non-material spiritual self. It's a representation of your consciousness, your awareness, your spirit. Your spirit is riding on yourself, on your physical self. And what is it doing? It's creating the variety of joyful music, joyful celebration in the world. Optimism. So you want to use this experience to create only the very bestity best things that you can imagine and feel. Because those are the things that are going to become reflected back and made real. Remember, the future is not a stone. The future is clay. The future is clay, not stone. The future is not set in stone. It is malleable, moldable. It is clay. So we're going to go forward even more. One more thing I will say about this, though, is notice that as all that joy is getting created and we're having our manifestations happening, we also are seeing there's a little bit of red or pink in her skin. That's representing new foundation being born again in the world. The pink is really the red. It's really the red. And this is like newborn, new foundations of you being the rider of yourself or the spiritual identity inside yourself. 51% shifting your identity, 51% to being the spirit, and that we're living more up here. That's why there's more of the card shown in 2/3 of the card is above, and we're above over here, and we're above over here. 2/3 is above because we are now spiritually awakening more and more. We are adopting or shifting our identity to be that spiritual consciousness, that awareness, which is really simply self-awareness. We are now more living as awareness. We know that we are giving birth to our thoughts and ideas, conceptions are going out like little birds, like little winged angels in the world and coming back to us, and we are celebrating all of that. Now the other thing here is all the light blue and the horses and the light blue in the background is the throat chakra, which is the talking chakra, which is the speaking and communicating chakra outward into the world. So we want to make sure we're telling other people about these things. We're describing these things to other people, sharing them with other people, or sharing them in some other ways. Whether you make a YouTube video like I'm doing, or whether you write about it, or whether you talk about it with your friends, or you find like one of my groups and share it on my group. By the way, if you want, you can find me. My group is called Free Psychic Readings and Spiritual Attraction. And it also has the name The Sea of Liquid Diamonds in it. So you can join us there. It's free. It's a free group. And you can talk about and comment about stuff like this reading, or you can comment below about what you're experiencing. If you do that, if you write about it, then it gets bigger, it expands, it gets more embodiment. So you become 2/3 or more of a spiritual being. And you want that so you can live optimistically above the world. So the only other thing I was going to say here is that the horses are swimming in this little water because it's signifying that we have risen above the water, meaning we have risen above our emotional nature. the waters of our emotions and the waters of all our data, all our memories. We have more control over our emotions, more control over our memories, and more of our memories are joyful by the yellow. So we're going to keep moving on. Whoa, this reading. The next thing we're going to read is that Bazooka Joe comic. It's part of the reading. I can't wait to see it. I've never read one before. Not like this. Okay, so here we go. Now look, this is the first reading ever that I've done that included a Bazooka Joe comic, right? As one of the oracle cards. Now I'm going to start with the back of it just because that's what I'm inspired to do. And we see again that blank white canvas, right? So that's been a theme. We have had this gratitude for everything being blank and white and creatable in our imagination space to do fresh things. We've risen above and we saw the canvas that we're painting on, and we talked about that as being the canvas of our mind, but also the canvas of painting differently on old memories, especially traumatic ones. And then we're also seeing this optimistic way of painting on our blank canvas. We want to keep our words and our energy in optimistic, expecting the best. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the comic and get ourselves what we need to. So we're going to start right with the fortune itself because wouldn't that be where we want? Soon you can take a trip and make an amazing discovery. All right, whoa. Okay, look, that's awesome, first of all. So let's break it apart. Soon you can take a trip, okay? What trip are we talking about? Well, we saw it in the last card. Soon you can take a trip. You can take a trip up here and formulate those new ideas. And you'll have an amazing discovery coming back at you in the world. That's where see, little baby's going out. The baby's going out because that's really a part of you that you imagined and felt with your words that has grown out into the world, right? That immaculate conception has happened. It's gone out into the world and it's growing back towards you for you to discover. And it's going to be amazing. How amazing wouldn't it be if you were imagining and thinking certain things and then you're watching them echoed back in your reality, reflected back to you. So that's this part of it. And that's all we're going to look at here, except we are going to read the comic too, because that applies for some reason. Let's see what we got here. So in the comic we see what? Mort, come here. And Mort's like, yes, Dad. So right away, what we see here is the child of God, right? The child of God is listening to its father, the universe, the source. And the universe, the source, is talking directly to its child. So, Mort, come here. And the universe, the source, wants us to come closer to it. It's asking us to visit it, to talk with it, to be with it. And Mort's like, yeah? Mort's saying yes. This is the person who says yes. You can say yes to the universe when it speaks to you. You can be like, yeah. You can be like, oh my God, I see my manifestations coming back at me. The things I imagined and felt are coming back into my life. Holy moly. Wow. Let's see what happens. So, yeah, I know he looks all mean and angry. Who cares? You don't have to judge things based on how they look. You can make that decision that they mean love and light. Now watch. He says what? He says, Mort, just look at your hair. In my youth, I brushed my hair 3 or 4 times a day. Look at your hair. Okay? Look at mine. I haven't any. What's he saying? Look at your hair. Look at your hair. Look at your here. Look at your here. Look at your here and now 3 or 4 times a day. Look at your here and now 3 or 4 times a day. Be present in the moment 3 or 4 times a day. Come back into your conscious space. Your hair, your here, your hair, your awareness, your spiritual identity. Come back there 3 or 4 times a day. In your youth, in your exuberance of living life in the present, your exuberance of creating new situations, new ideas, new perceptions, new words and images that you want to see reflected back. Your youth, your strength, your youth. 3 or 4 times a day, it's saying, meditate 3 or 4 times a day, pause and get calm by focusing on your breathing. I have a lot of videos that talk about that practice of pausing and getting calm by moving awareness to breathing. I call it mindful conscious breathing, and it is in the Shift Your Identity video. You can find those identity shifting videos, identity repositioning videos on my channel. These are all going to come up for you if you're watching this. So you can also go ahead and just look through the channel and find these videos, especially the one on mindful conscious breathing or oxygen flooding, where we are pausing and getting calm in the moment. So it says, he's saying 3 or 4 times a day, connect with that inner space to remind yourself who you really are, which is a spiritual being living in the world. Now, what's he saying? So Mort says back to him, he says, hey, look at your hair. In my youth, I brushed it 3 or 4 times a day. And you can see that he's all black like a shadow here. Why? Because he's talking to the part of us that is dark or dormant or negative, which is ourself in a way. Now, it's not negative, it's just static, like static electricity in your hair. It's just static, meaning that our self is just data. It's not really alive. The thing that's alive is our spiritual conscious awareness, living inside of a changing set of data called yourself, or in this case called Mort. So he's saying, I brush my hair 3 or 4 times a day, which means that he goes up here also and formulates the things he wants to see come back in the here and now of his life. So you want to go up there, meditate, get calm, and in that stillness, imagine and feel the good things you want to see coming back, reflected back in the here, and now. All right, how does it end? He says, so Mort says back to him, so we say back, yes. We say yes, we accept that invitation, and we accept that guidance and instruction. We say yes, and look what happened. You swept it all away. Like me. Look. So what Mort is saying is that it's a joke. In a way, it's being a smart aleck. So we want to make sure that we're not doing that. We're not brushing off the good counsel, the God counsel that's coming to us. We want to stay open-minded. We want to stay spiritually minded so that we are aware of the practices and principles of spiritual living and that we are putting them into play. Not like Mort, who's saying something sarcastic about it. But even this is good too, because look, because he's got no hair on his head, right? In the Bible, not to quote the Bible, but you do sometimes, and how convenient for me when I'm about to say. In the Bible, it says, with baldness comes wisdom. Now, it just simply means that with age and experience, we become wiser and wiser because we have that wisdom, because we made more and more conceptions come to pass in the world, and because we've become more familiar with how to reject certain ideas and accept other ones, and we become more in tune with being spiritually awake, wiser. So we lose our hair. We lose our here and now in favor of this spiritual dimension. We lose our present day duality reality, our shadow. We lose our shadow so that we can live in the here and now of the spiritual dimension. Okay? And so here we go, able to be wiser, be optimistic, be able to program our reality by what we imagine and feel up here in our conscious space. Boom, because we are following that guidance. All right, there are still, oh my gosh, there's actually still 3 more cards in this reading. Whoa, let's check it out. Letting go, okay. So once you are working with your manifestation, right? Once you have decided what you want to see conceived in the world, and it's about to give birth, you think about the different possibilities up in your heart mind, your third eye. Then you paint that picture and you allow it to go out like that little baby into the world, right? And then you continue to come back into your mindfulness, into your quiet space, and you unhook from the world and you let it go. You just let it go, and there's the infinity sign. That 8 is really an infinity sign on its side, and it's in the light blue throat chakra because it is the infinite being communicated into the world. We want to let it go, let it ripple back. It'll ripple back that little bit of light, that health and wellness green. See that we first saw here. This is a very close-up of one of our manifestations, one of our thoughts and ideas that we let go, and it's going to come into the world all infused with light, and it's going to become that reflection, that new experience for us. So we want to let it go. And the 8, again, is saying that anything is possible, infinite is possible, and that the infinite has entered the world in a way that's miraculous. Let's look at the next card. Boom! Release. There's another letting go. We're going to release it. And what are we going to get? The stars are going to cry down. The light is going to grow our tree of life, our tree of day-to-day circumstances. Look at them all on the leaves. This is the tree of life the Bible talks about, whose leaves are for the healing of all the nations, meaning that as you go through your life and you imagine and feel these new things and you experience them, then you talk about them, then you're going to be packing them into the stream of the world. There's the book of life back here. You're going to be packing all your words into the stream of life. Other people are going to hear and see them, and they're going to help heal. Heal them, meaning that they're going to they're going to use that information as data for them to build even more new things, even more unique things. So look, you are that single eye, that third eye, that what? That big old, powerful agent or child of God. There's that love, there's the heart, right, that you started with. Now it goes down, squeezes out from the light of the stars and becomes embodied and growing in the world. All of these leaves here, yeah, they all are all the different colors because they combine together to form the wisdom leaves that we see here. And the cycle continues. So you want to release it more and more. You don't have, that means too that don't worry about the manifestation coming to pass. Just let it go and know, since you know you are a spiritual being, that your 51% identity is shifted into being a spirit or an awareness or a consciousness, then you know that it's all going to come to pass. And that's why it says to just release it, let it go. Just don't even have to worry about it. Let's look at the last card. Oh, the heart compass. And we saw that earlier on. What a great reading. Are you kidding me? I love this reading. Oh my God, I'm glad I'm witnessing it. It's for me, right? It is for whoever is listening, and that's you right now. Other people will be here because we are a spiritual being having a human experience. And these readings are light readings that are principles and practices and effective approaches to living a spiritual life. Now remember, the heart compass is there, and we saw it earlier on here. That was what's in our heart ends up becoming our new foundation in the world, and we're grateful for that it's easy to give birth to new things by imagining and feeling it in our consciousness. And the white light will come down to earth, and it will be what we then experience in our world. So this is all here to prove to you that you can believe in the simple fact that you are a creative spiritual being having a human experience, and that the things that you imagine and feel and that you communicate, you can see all the light blue, that's communication. Both light and dark blue here is third eye and throat. What you communicate both within and without, both out of your mouth and what you do up here in your secret place, in your outer space place, right? As that spiritual light being that you are, what you do up in your consciousness is going to then come down to earth and be reflected as material circumstances. So, what a great boom reading where the non-material light that you are, it's really a selfie, this is how I look. The non-material light that we are gets to come into the world as love of words. Create a little embodiment for it, and we are grateful at the gift that God, Source Universe, has given us, and the mission to come into the world and to create new iterations of data for the tree of life. There it is. So, oh yeah, go ahead and like this video. Really, help this video get to more people, right? Share the video, subscribe to my channel, be a part of the spiritual journey, and go ahead and check out some of the other videos I mentioned here. I'll put some down in the descriptions, and I am so grateful myself to be able to be here and to witness the ideas that have come through in this spiritually channeled reading. Enjoy.